Hey everybody, it's Barry Krevoy with the Krevoy Team at Arbor Financial, and I'm with my friend.
Cheryl Houston with True Story Realty. And so good to be with you, Barry. How are you doing?
Man, I feel like I got whiplash sometime, Carol, but other
I
than that,
felt like last week a train hit me. I really felt like it was right. I mean, it's been quite the time, but I'm glad we're talking because you know what? I think it's important for people to know that this too shall pass, right? Yeah. We kind of went through a lot during the pandemic. We really did. And real estate was like, what is happening? But people also got some opportunities that maybe they wouldn't have gotten had that situation not happened. So we don't want to get political, but we just want to talk about solutions, right?
that's right.
And how we can kind of think about stuff right now.
Yeah. So Carol and I were kind of just talking a little bit prior to doing this. And by the way, the reason why we're doing this, folks, this is going to be fairly short, is, there's so much different news on all of I mean, depending on where you get your news, it could be from, God forbid, from cable and traditional networks, or it could be from some YouTube channel you're watching, or Instagram, or your friend Bill that you work with, or your crazy Uncle Charlie. I don't know where you're getting your news from, but this is definitely not a news program. But as there is so much going on, Carol is a top realtor in the Los Angeles area. I would say the greater Los Angeles area. And we don't do too bad for ourselves either with the Krevoy team. And
Well, she with those AIM lenders because they take care of our clients so beautifully. So Barry and I talk probably once a week, right, Barry, about the world. And we suddenly said, we should just record this because it's always a conversation. It always is.
we talk as often as we can. But yeah, so from our perspective, from a lender's perspective, and from a realtor's perspective, we not only are hearing all of these different opinions, but we're also, dealing with clients. In Carol's sake, she's dealing with buyers and sellers. In my case, I'm usually dealing with buyers, and each one of us have a different set of questions that we are constantly getting asked. So we thought, hey, let's just share this real quick with, some whoever's interested in listening to this, our viewpoint on, kind of where the market's at right now. Some of the lessons learned, like Carol said, back in 2020 and 21, who would have thunk in the middle of a pandemic, we'd have the biggest real estate boom in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And right now we see, just so much craziness going on in the market that we just wanted to try and talk about maybe some things that we think would help you, whether you're a seller or a buyer. So, um, traditional,
One of the things that you always talk about, Barry, is, interest rates are affected by so many things. It's not just, I mean, that if there's inflation, if there's a recession, if the stock market one day is going to affect it, and then the next day it's going to be something else. And we watch it, but if we're making these decisions based on just right now, we just got a whole nother news flash that suddenly the tariffs have been put on hold. So then the stock market goes up. So it's kind of like fasten your seatbelt. We're all going to be okay, but we don't make these decisions just based on this hour because it could change the next hour. What it comes down to is, what do you need? Do you need a house for your family that's bigger? Or do you need a house that's smaller? Or do you need to sell your home and move into assisted living? Do you need to go and live near relatives because you're lonely and you're not working any longer? Whatever that is, it's about your own urgency of what you need. And the market, people that have waited are still waiting. And they're like, oh, if I just bought back when I had that opportunity in 2021 and there was so much competition, I said, I'm not going to compete. And now they're still waiting. So part of it is we want to encourage people to make decisions based on what they need, and that Barry can get them, you can get them a great loan, and maybe you'll help them refi it next year or in 2 years or whenever we can, hopefully when the rates come back down. But we're here to kind of help you with your needs and also kind of navigate when you get bad news and you think, oh no, there goes all my money. And then today it came back up again. So yay. But it's whiplashy, right?
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Carol's a lot younger than I am, so I will say that, I can't tell you how many, 911, the world's gonna end things that have happened in my life. You go back to, the S&L crisis, the savings and loan crisis back in the late '80s, and then, you talk about, the mortgage collapse in 2008 or Y2K or I mean, there was always some reason the world was gonna end, and we're still here. And I mean, Carol probably more even than I did because most recently in her neck of the woods, you might have even seen her on the news, with the Palisades fire and the Altadena fire that's going on. I mean, you think we've all had it rough? I mean, you only
People
imagine.
that have lost everything. And now California is also dealing with insurance, right? That's our other thing that we're dealing with. So, it's always just the next challenge, but it's like, I just want to be in this place of encouraging people that we can help you through it, and to stay in hope, because to me, it's like, um, once we lose our hope, we kind of lose our ability to be useful.
Yep.
And I always want to be useful. I want to be contributing to the world, not, I want to come up with solutions and not just be in this dark place, which I could go to. Believe me, I could just put my head under the covers and stay there and be like, when it all blows over, let me know. But you know what? I feel like it's a higher calling to like be in a place that we say, how can we help you? How can we, everybody's going to have a need at different times. And we've had a lot of need recently. We've helped a lot of people find leases because they want to rebuild their houses. And it's been quite a challenge, but
Yeah.
we're helping them. And the economy is also scary, but I think we're going to get through it somehow.
Well, yeah, I think if the one lesson we should take out of this, and this, by the way, guys, I'm talking about myself, and I probably don't know you if you're watching this, but I can tell you myself, there's been times, and I'm well informed, probably more than the average person when it comes to the economy and interest rates. And I used to think that I had a crystal ball. Like I would tell my clients, I'm not right all the time, but I am right most of the time. Well, I took off my Kreskin the Magnificent hat, about a year and a half ago because there's just so many moving parts that can change everything. Here's one thing I know is that if you're renting and you have the ability to buy, you should be buying because we can always refinance later. But if the houses continue to go up in value, well, then you're just going to pay more for those. If interest rates do go down, what happens? For every 1% that rates go down, 5 million new home buyers come into the
To
market.
the market. That's exactly right. The competition goes way up.
Yeah. And so does the home. So, you're sitting here waiting for a better rate. In the meantime, the home that you want just went up $200,000 because rates came down. So, do your best to also take off your Kreskin the Magnificent house because because I can tell you a lot of my clients, they're very smart people and, probably even smarter than I am. But there's just certain things we can't anticipate, especially a lot of the things that are happening in the world right now. The market is still it's a great market out there. Traditionally, interest rates in historically are around where they're at right now. The only
Typically
difference
been, yeah. And sometimes, I mean, I remember them being at 8 for the longest time. Oh. And it's like, so it's kind of like what you get used to. The other thing I was going to say is, um, I think also sellers have to kind of adjust their expectations of what the market in the past few years has been versus now. So like I've got clients in the higher end that we've had to do price adjustments for them. And they've had to adjust to the fact that maybe they're not going to get that much more than what they thought they were going to get, like somehow thinking that maybe their house was appreciating more than it did over the past couple of years. So that's the other part, is really helping sellers kind of come to this realization that maybe their appreciation wasn't as high as they had hoped in the past couple of years. So, and so they're having to adjust also to kind of say, okay, what am I willing to let my house go for? But you know what? I need to move to New York because I'm relocating because I have a new job. So it's kind of like, that's the more important thing. Let's get it sold so you can get on with your next adventure, really. And
right.
it feels like you're not making as much as you had hoped. It's just kind of acceptance is the key to all my problems today. It really is a place of, okay, I'm going to accept this, but the next opportunity is still going to be there, right? So it's an education for both sides, I think, for buyers, but also for sellers to kind of be in a place of, all right, let's see what the market holds, because a house is only worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it, but what a seller is willing to accept for it, right? So the market always tells us what the value is. So, but Barry, I appreciate always the data that you have and that we always take a deep dive with it because it's kind of like, okay, here's where we were 5 years ago. Right now, we're kind of in unprecedented times because, you know, it's just one day at a time. We're looking at it and kind of going, okay, well, how do we make lemonade out of these lemons? Right? What's the best way? So,
Yeah, and I would say to you also that, Carol and I, um, fortunately have done a lot of business together. We're friends. We have clients that, are brilliant, that are making millions of dollars a year. We have clients that are, barely scraping by. Um, so no matter how well informed you are, two heads are better than one. So I would always encourage you, like, I would love to hear your viewpoint. If you have a particular viewpoint on the market and you'd like to meet with me, I would love to hear that. I know the same thing goes for Carol. We want to try and figure out whether or not this is the right time for you because it may not be. When we're done, I've told Carol before, like, I don't think I can help this person. So, it's just not like we're not just going to say to you, hey, buy, 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 because right now we need to, make money. This is about you, your individual situation, and us trying to help you to come to the right decision. So, with that said,
that I mean, part of it is that part of it that we, a long time ago, I think, Barry, you and I let go of the idea of, uh, we became about service.
mhm,
How do we serve these people? And that's why the name of my company is called True Story, because we just tell the true story of whether we think this is a good time and maybe this is not the right house for you. I'm the first one to say, don't buy this house. Don't buy it. In the end, you're going to want to,
not kidding, because I've had clients that we share that have actually said,
because it's like, it's not going to be worth it. It's going to be a money pit or the issues are, it's never going to meet what you need because I know what you told me you need. And I think there's going to be a better house. And always the better house shows up. And it's like letting go of what you thought was going to be the best thing ends up giving you so much more. And so we also are in a place that it's like, if I make money off of this, great. But if you're happy, 100 people and you're going to tell them how happy you are. That's how our business grows. It's not about money. It's about connecting people and helping them find what it is they need for their next adventure in this life to find a home. I mean, it's really and while we're going through all we're going through right now in the world, wouldn't it be nice to be able to go through it with your loved ones in a home that you feel safe and protected and you feel comfort and you come home at the end of the day and say, yeah, the rest of the world is spinning out of control, but I'm so grateful I have a place to call home.
mm, amen.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, thank you guys for listening. For those of you that stuck into this, Carol, thank you so much for doing this with me. I always love seeing you and especially honored to do a video with you. So
You too, Barry. It's always good to be with you too. Thank you. And
we'll make,
we'll keep doing what we do, right?
yes, that's right. If you guys want to set up an appointment with Carol or myself, we'll have our information down below. And, again, it could just, we don't even need to pull your,
Just ask questions, or if you want to kind of know what to do or what you're thinking of, or if you have family members that need help, we'll just talk. That's all.
that's right. That's right. All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. And Carol, thank you again.
Thank you, Barry. Have a wonderful day.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.